Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Welcome to the headquarters of Guitars Ruin Lives. I don't have a faithful sidekick like Captain Anderton with Rob Chapman and vice versa, but I do in Sam. His witty banter is an area for development, but he's like awesomely here, and it makes me feel slightly less crazy. So, I've connected with a guitar buddy at work named Will Sapp, and he's been talking about my videos a little bit and got me thinking again about tone and guitar geek stuff, which I enjoy, and it made me realize I've never done a proper overview of this thing. Really looks as good in person as it does right here in this video right now. This is my 1981 Ibanez Blazer 550. So, real quick rundown. Ibanez, at the time, still mainly known for their copies of Gibson style guitars and then Fender style guitars. They had broken out with some major artists like Steve Miller, Bob Weir, with artist and musician models, stuff like that, but they were still making really great clone-like instruments, but getting further from the clone and closer to their own thing. So the Blazer then became the template for the Roadstar and all kinds of stuff like this. This was the top of the line. I'll tell you about all the features as we go after I play a little bit and give you the rundown. Worth knowing, these strings are quite old and the bridge is quite decked. So we've got more of like a ballsy Richie Blackmore, Ry Cooder kind of Strat sound than like an airy Knopfler kind of Strat sound. That's a meaty dish. Position 5, 4, 4, 4. Now you hear that almost just sounds like the neck. It doesn't notch out nearly as much of the mids as some other guitars, and we can talk about that in a minute. We can talk about it. We can talk about it, you know. Middle position. What else are you going to do with the middle position? Here's this one. Again, less notched than you would expect from that position, but there it is. And then the bridge. Pickup riff. All right, let's talk about the Blazer 550. So if you're familiar with Ibanez at all, you know 550 later would indicate their flagship RG line introduced in 1987 as the poor man's Steve Vai guitar. It became much more than a poor man's Steve Vai guitar, but that's kind of what it was. So 550, at least in the 87 iteration, meant you have a pick guard and you have 3 pickups. So I don't know if that's exactly the reason why they kept it or why that number ended up being in the RGs, but it's the same here. So the Blazer was available in various iterations, including 2 humbuckers, and of course the 3 humbucker, 3 pickup Strat configuration. Super crazy, awesomely straight, sturdy, rock hard maple neck. The body, presumably alder, although only the good Lord truly knows. And thankfully on this guitar, because it's so clean and there's no huge dings out of it, despite being 38 years old, you really don't know. There's not even anywhere to really look without getting the neck off. And even then, alder, ash, mystery, Japan wood, who knows. Probably alder would be the standard and more available then than when they were trying to make really cheap guitars. So, the interesting thing with these, besides the quality of the materials, you have brass everything, brass tuners. These are really nice Ibanez smooth tuner brand tuners. Even your neck plate is brass, your input jack is brass, everything else. You see we got some extra switches and one less knob than you would have on a Strat going on. Hey dude, it's the wrong room for that. Nope. Look at it. That's as mean as I ever am to my dog. Only during videos. So these should be brass knobs. Originally they would be brass. So what you see here is we have 2 switches. This first mini switch is a coil tap. So what you actually heard first was the coil tapped version. And in brief, a coil split is when you have a humbucker and simply disconnect one of the coils. So that's not what this is. These are coil tapped, which means you have a certain number of winds, and then when you tap them, you disconnect a certain number of those winds. So I gave you the tapped version, which gives you a more vintage sounding sound on all of these pickups, except the middle, which I'll talk about in a moment. So here it is, tapped neck. Sorry, neck. Full power. Boost or kind of like a clean boost on there. I think the pickups are definitely more transparent as you would expect and a little more natural sounding when you don't have them full power, when you've got them tapped just a touch tapped. But it is nice when you're playing live to treat this tapped as your default setting when the sound man's, you know, doing his thing, and then when you need the solo, you just you can hear it there for sure. Take the amp right over the edge, and you can of course work with that between the guitar and the amp. Now the middle pickup doesn't tap. I'm not going to take you through all 5 positions and make this a 30-minute video. Middle pickup does not tap. I got into the forums, could not find an answer if mine had a problem, was defective, whatever. Finally connected with another guy via YouTube who has 80-something 550 like this, and his also did not tap, and he didn't know something was wrong with his. So I reckon the middle pickup just doesn't do that. I'll let you hear it on the bridge again, and it is really awesome to have for the bridge pickup because of the typical bridge pickup Strat reasons. So without the tap, or tapped rather. Then you get, it's like straight into P90 territory. Sorry, that was wrong. This is tapped. So, what does this second little switch do? This is our phase switch, so it's only good in positions 4 and 2. By the way, traditionally, Strat people, that's number 1, not number 5, just so you know. I know it seems backwards, but you don't question the Leo. Now, out of phase, I thought positions 2 and 4 were already out of phase. Well, again, in case you did think that, which I did for a long time, that's not the case. They are not out of phase until you hear this lovely sound right here. A lot quieter, and all of a sudden there's this crazy mid-high shift. All the bass drops out. And it sounds almost like you have a phaser on it, like you're getting that little... Now I'm just having fun. Now, there might be something going on with my fourth position here because the phase splitter doesn't seem to make that much difference here. So position 4 is this one. I'm going to tap the pickup first too. This guitar is awesome, by the way. So, it's working. Phase. Finally, phase with the full neck pickup. Can really be a great sound. Sometimes you just want to roll a smidge into that tone out. We could play all day, but this is the 1981 Blazer 550 made in Japan. If you ever get the chance, I mean, I got this for just a criminally low. I actually paid a fair amount for it, you know what I mean? But we're talking, even in the greatest of condition, you shouldn't pay more than $400 for one of these. I paid less than that, a good deal less than that, and it is not a traditional Stratocaster in terms of the electronics, but you could easily make it that way if that's what you wanted. And this is, I've not played a better Stratocaster. I have not played a better made, better feeling Strat in my life, period. Doesn't matter where it was made or when. So just amazing guitars. They did have the reissues later, which are a totally different animal. Very cool if you're trying to do the shred but not look like a shred guitar thing. But this is just an amazing instrument. And let us not neglect the matching headstock. How freaking great is that? Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Guitars absolutely ruin lives. Good God. Have you seen this place? Like, there's just nothing. There's just nothing here but guitars, coffee, and a dog. I mean, it's a pretty great life, but it's not the one that my parents hoped for, I don't think. So let it ruin yours too. Please subscribe, like, tell me what you want to hear. Tell me about your Stratocaster. Tell me how I should comb my hair, whatever it is. You know, hey Mel, welcome. Let's do it. Let's get it on, all right? See you next time.